Oh, I'm not losing to you, bro.
Bro, even in a 400,
Bro, you're the Jake Paul of running. You just strategically choose your opponents and then you beat them, and everybody knows it's not shit, bro. I actually run. I ran track and cross country and shit, bro.
What is up, YouTube? Back with some more nonsense videos until I get my page monetized. So I'm doing this long form shit. So I know you guys checked out the video I just, played right now. Now, Derek versus Speed, clearly, Speed will smoke him in a sprinting contest, right? Sprinting. Now, if they're talking about long distance, which they should put some money on the line, because I feel like Speed, if you still want to prove a point, you can beat him in both styles, long distance and short distance. But if it's a long distance race, like not an 800, but what's 4 laps? 1600? 1600? I'm not too sure with my little distance stuff, but if they did 4 laps, I think Derek got him. I mean, I'll say this. I used to run track in high school, right? And I was a sprinter, and I used to run a 10.7 That's why I want to race Speed, because I don't think he's faster than a 10.7. I feel like Speed's like a 10.9, and he can get off the blocks quick. But what it is a lot of people have second gears, and that's where the trouble is, But anyways, I run a 10.7 in high school, right? And coach would always make us run with the long distance runners just to keep our endurance up. But I remember we did like a little indoor fun track meet, right? Where I had to do the 800, and I went up against a sprinter. Now tell me why I ran my 400. I ran it in like almost a 50, I believe a 50 in my sophomore, junior year. I ran like a 50 in a high 49, right? We had this long distance runner, and he was skinny as shit. He was probably like a buck feather, really light. His teeth, his white big ass teeth probably weighed more than his whole body, you know what I'm saying? And he wore this big ass block watch, and I guess that just kept the time, But when I had a race against him, and I kept up with him. The first lap, I sprinted. I had a sprint, because it's not just a sprint. You have to run it a certain way. You know what I'm saying, y'all? If you are in track and field, you know what I'm talking about. You have to strategically run that 800 in a certain way. I don't know if it's like I don't know if you have to like coast the curves and then sprint the straightaway, and then when it gets to, I don't know, it's something like that. But the dude was just chewing gum, and he was singing next to me, and he was fucking me. He was messing with my brain. He was just sitting there just, you okay? Damn, dude, let's go. Yeah, bro, man, are you sure you want to be a sprinter? Just fucking in my head, bro. Just antagonizing me. And I'm just like, dude, what the hell? So I'm just like, all right, let me get it to a second gear. He picks it up with me, and this fool's wearing some big-ass Skechers, and he ends up beating me. He ends up taking me.
Oh, I'm not losing to you, bro.
bro, even in a 400,
Bro, you're the Jake Paul of running. You just strategically choose your opponents, and then you beat them, and everybody knows it's not shit, bro. I actually run. I ran track and cross country and shit, bro.
Yeah,
you're the Jake Paul.
My long distance runner sat there and smoked him. I should have put some money. He was sitting there telling teachers that. I should have put some money on it. I should have really put some money on it, because everybody kept saying, we'll smoke this kid. Right? And that's the first thing I think of when I see IShowSpeed versus that fool Derek. And I like how Derek clearly said, I'm a long distance runner. So if they did something long distance, Derek, you might want to put some money on the plate. If you do see this, put 10,000 down, because for sure, Speed's 400 is probably a high 55. It's probably over a minute, because he's getting a little chunky. You can tell that Speed's probably a $150, $160. He's got a little muscle on him. That muscle will weigh you down. That would be one hell of an event. It would be like the rabbit versus the tortoise, something like that. But that little video right there, that's interesting right there, because a lot of people would assume Derek would get his little ass spanked. But I like how Derek really pointed that out and said, let this be a long distance run. I will hand it to your ass. I will spank your ass. I'll put a belt on your ass and pow. Right? Right? Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. All right, catch you guys in the next one.